Another thing I love about it as well is the. I'm assuming that Wahlberg's daughter is the eye candy, because if there was other eye candy in the film, we'd have seen it by now in the trailers. But I love the fact that the main male star of the movie is the eye candy's father. So if there is be a cheesy fucking romance brewing at some point in the movie, it's not going to be with the main actor Wahlberg. It's going to be with some other fucking, probably some kid in the army or something, you know.
An Irish lad is in it. His name is Jack Rayner. He's in a film called What Richard Did.
That's
which
very familiar. That was filmed here, wasn't it?
Yeah, it's an Irish movie, which is a movie about a guy who killed someone accidentally after a fight. I think that's supposed to be one of those tellings of, like, you know, that thing that happened a couple of years ago with Southside kids.
Some young fella outside a nightclub or something.
Nightclub, but this movie is completely sympathetic to the character that kills someone.
Okay, yeah.
So I thought it was a stupid movie.
Did you?
Are you gonna watch it?
Nope.
Alright, I'm gonna spoil it. He basically has this friend who he's very close with. He rides his mate's girlfriend. The mate finds out, confronts him about it. They get into a little bit of a tussle. He knocks him to the ground. Your man hits his head. He fucks off and leaves him there, and your man ends up dying. At the end, you don't find out if he turned himself in or anything like that, but you would assume he didn't, because there's no repercussions and he's going to college and he's having a great life. So basically they're saying kill someone, lie about it, and get away with it, and you'll be right. That's the gist of the story.
That's boring. You would want it to go one way or the other. One way, show how he got away with it. Did he do something clever or whatever? Or show him not getting away with it. But don't show just life continuing as normal.
Another thing that annoyed me was the dad in it isn't upset about the fact that someone is dead. He's upset about the fact that his son did it and that his son's life could be ruined by it. So it's it's a shit movie. It's very terrible. It sounds
awful. Yeah. And does he end up with the girlfriend then after that?
Yeah, as far as I know, he does.
Sweet. Fucking everything just turned up roses for this fucker, didn't it?
So I kind of hope he dies in Transformers.
Yeah, me too. Straight away, first scene, gets stood on by a dinosaur.
Also, a lot of the movie was filmed in Hong Kong.
Well,
so you could see a little appearance from me.
Yeah, cool. I keep hearing this thing that China only lets 20 films in or something every year.
Yeah.
What's it like in the cinema? How many films are on?
Well, no, China, Hong Kong is very different.
Oh, okay, so where you are, you can see every film, is it? Because I'm always wondering, you got to see Gravity, you got to see fucking Iron Man, you got to see everything I was interested in. And I was like, this is cool. You know, just by chance, the films we're managed are the films that China is letting in, but it's not. It's Hong Kong is cool. China is sad.
Because China is communist and is trying to control its population, they won't let any movies in that would have kind of a revolutionary or anti-China sentiment that could be anything from a character giving out about the government.
Yeah.
Things like that, you know what I mean? So, like, they're really strict. Iron Man 3, there's parts of that movie that were shot that were just shown in the Chinese release because it was financed by China.
Yeah.
And the reason they got China to finance some of it is because it finances some of it and it's shot in China, and China is portrayed in a very positive fashion.
Yeah.
They're more likely to release it in the country.
Yeah.
So it's a new market to open up.
I watched someone on YouTube. I haven't actually watched her in a while now, but she talks about pretty much the same things as us, like those kind of movies, you know, a lot of comic book movies and what have you.
Yeah.
But I remember, I don't know where she lives, is it fucking Romania or somewhere like that? I think it's Romania or something. Like, they're the same, they have to wait sometimes a few weeks before the film comes out. So her role on fucking YouTube is severely bleeding handicapped by that. Green Lantern. She had to wait something like 5 months for that to come out.
Really?
Yeah.
Jesus. I know Japan, you know Man of Steel, the way that came out in June?
Yeah.
They didn't get it to like November or October or something like.
You have to wonder what the thinking is behind that, don't you?
I think it's because their holidays are different.
Right.
So more people will be able to go see the movie.
Yeah.
It's released at that time, so that's why they do it.
Yeah.
It might be snapping, having to wait
even so, if I was in charge of that kind of thing, I'd be like, there's no way I'm leaving it that long, because if all the fans who are dying to see it in, let's say, Japan, what they're going to do is, of course, they're going to pirate it.
Yeah.
They're not going to wait 1 month, 2 months, 3 months. They're going to want to see it fucking now, and that's what's going to happen.
Definitely, yeah.
It's like Anthony does be telling me about, you know, the animes that have dubbing. They've been dubbed into English.
Yeah.
Sometimes that's official, but 9 times out of 10 it's not. It's done by like fan sites and what have you.
Yeah.
But obviously it's illegal. You should wait for the English dub. but he was saying sometimes that could take a year for them to release the English dub version, or it might never happen. So literally, as an English speaking fan of a certain, let's say One Piece, right?
Yeah.
You might be told, listen, you're gonna have to wait a year to see this in English, or we might not bring it up. So what are you supposed to do? Not fucking watch it?
Yeah, I know.
Of course you're gonna put it.
It's like TV shows. Like I used to watch ER.
Yeah.
Did you ever watch that? I used to watch like when I was in my teens. But me and my mom used to watch it every Sunday night, for example. And like we finished the season in March. Yeah, but it was March, but it was like the previous year's season. So that finale that we watched in March had probably aired in America in the June before, and they were already into the next season, and we had to wait till like December to see the season that was nearly finished in America.
Yeah.
I mean, so if I could just watch it online, why wouldn't I watch it online?
Exactly.
I mean,
that's the thing. Like you could understand that you're talking about the 90s there. You can kind of understand that them getting away with it back then. But to make that decision these days, it's retarded because you're doing yourself out of business.
Yeah.
People are going to watch it illegally, and you're going to lose money.
I watch One Piece online, English subtitles, and one of the things that people complained about specifically as well with One Piece was when they originally dubbed it into English, they made so many changes that didn't resemble the original series at all. Things like one of the characters smokes all the time, and they made him have a lollipop.
I've heard about this. Yeah.
Yeah, and like the accents weren't like he was supposed to be. He's this chef, but he sounds like a fucking deep Bronx voice, like "Hey, how you doing?" That kind of voice. You know?
Yeah.
It's like ridiculous. If you watch the series in English, it didn't make sense. If you watched the rest of it, then I think they cut down like 150 episodes to like 80 episodes.
Right.
That's how much stuff they cut out, with like violence and stuff. And you're like, why would I bother?
Yeah.
Waiting to see this shite when I can just watch it on the internet.
Do you remember we were talking about the crushes that time when I was talking about April O'Neil?
Yeah.
I had looked up the Turtles to see what year the cartoon was out and all that, and I was reading about it, and there was this whole thing about Maggie Thatcher. Did you ever hear about that?
I did. I looked it up actually.
Basically, she cut it to ribbons. Now, not herself in her own little editing suite in number 10 or anything like that, but because of her, it got cut to ribbons. And every time there was like an action scene, they cut it out and spliced in a previous scene.
Yeah.
Or just a random scene from somewhere else in the cartoon. Now, I obviously didn't see that version, because even as a kid, I would have picked up on shit like that. So, obviously, we were lucky in Ireland, we got the fucking American version or something. But in England, it was cut to bits, because she didn't want kids to see the violence, and the violence was so fucking tame. It was hardly violent at all. No one ever got stabbed. They had swords and blades and stuff, but no one ever got fucking sliced.
Yeah, like even got slapped with the side of the sword.
Yeah, but the one she had a big problem with was the one that's shaped like a big fork. I don't know what it's called.
Oh yeah, I know the one.
Has one major spike and two little curvy spikes on the side of it.
I can't remember what they're called. Though.
I can't remember, but that was never, in my eyes, it was never used as a weapon. It was always used as a counter to another weapon. So somebody would come running at you with a sword or an axe, and you'd catch the blade with this fork and spin it, and the sword would go flying. It was a defensive weapon. But she was like, "Oh, that's I don't want my British children to see this disgraceful ninja weapon."
Absolutely mental. Like she also changed the name from Teenage Mutant Ninja Turtles to Teenage Mutant Hero Turtles.
I heard that as well, and they changed the logo in the intro sequence, and you can see where it's fuzzy because they've changed it. What's the fucking thinking behind that?
Because she said that ninja gave off negative connotations. So
that's racist. That's straight away.
Yeah, she's being racist by saying that it gives off negative connotations. Like what?
Fucking hell. The only thing about the Transformers, when you said it was a new trailer, I assumed it was going to be pretty much the same trailer again, but with a few extra scenes.
No.
Or more emphasis on a certain thing, but it was like a completely different trailer.
Yeah.
Which in one way was great, and got me sexually aroused and all that, but in another way it was like, I don't want to see too much. I hope that's the last trailer. Stop showing me every fucking scene in the film,
Marvel are terrible for that. They release constantly just TV spots, trailers, behind the scenes. I think there's a behind the scenes feature from Captain America already. It's not even out. It's like I don't need to see what happened behind the scenes. I want to see the movie first, and then I'll watch the Blu-ray for the behind the scenes stuff. Yeah,
because behind the scenes, apart from anything else, it really takes you out of it. Do you know what I mean? It's grand once you have watched the film a couple of times, and let's say, like Lord of the Rings is a great example.
Yeah.
There's nothing that you could show me about behind the scenes that's ever going to ruin the magic for me in the film.
Mm-hmm.
But if you show me behind the scenes before I see the film, that means when I'm sitting there in the cinema watching it for supposedly the first time, I'm going to be looking and I'm going to say, yeah, I saw this. Gandalf's fucking beard is being held up by a string. Do you know what I mean? It's not really a goblin swinging over.
It's very interesting. I don't see the point in trying to take people out of the film before, like you said, before they see it.
Yeah.
Because if you see a behind the scenes feature before you're watching the movie, you're going to be sitting there going, "Oh, I know they did that. They had wires that he swung and blah blah blah."
Yeah.
You know what I mean? But I like sitting there watching something and then afterwards going, "Holy shit! I can't believe that's it." Like for example, the Man of Steel trailer. Not the Man of Steel trailer. The Man of Steel, the cape on the costume was completely CGI.
Yeah.
For the whole movie. And I did not know that, and I didn't notice it when I was watching the movie.
Yeah.
But I think if I had known that afterwards, I would have been like...
I had heard that beforehand.
Oh, really?
Yeah. Here's my thing, right? It's one of them, it's like a rumour that's been spread around. I'm not convinced that every single shot of the cape is CGI. Not convinced. Do you know what I mean? I think it's just when they wanted it to kind of flap behind them artistically. Do you know what I mean? You can even picture a couple of shots right now where he comes out of when he first wears the costume, when he comes out of that ship in fucking Greenland or wherever it was, and you can picture it in slow motion there behind them. I can understand them doing that in CGI because it's hard to recreate exactly what you want with wind. It's hard to get material to move in a certain way.
Depends on Henry Cavill's diet, you know what I mean? And I hope for this whole time that he was making films with Johnny Depp. Johnny Depp was lamping his wife out behind the scenes.
Listen, I think that would make his day. Like, that's his fucking fantasy. He keeps putting her on the big screen.
Actually,
I think he's trying to get them to hook up.
He'd be sitting in the corner wanking off the like secret home videos he made. Like this stuff. Like,